Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Supergirl issue 15, written and with art by Sophie Campbell, colors by Tamara Bonvillain, and letters by Becca Carey. The heroes of Kandor fight back as in the rubble of Argo City, the newly repowered Supergirl and Leslie La fight the Black Flame, who intends on killing Kara's friends instead of her to make her suffer. She fires a heat vision blast at the injured Connor, but he manages to block it with his tactile telekinesis, causing Zora to focus on Thundergirl. Surprisingly, Thundergirl screams at Zora and it emits an energy blast that pushes the villain into some rubble, something that shocks her being that she doesn't have a solar reservoir on anymore, so she shouldn't have powers. I'm pretty happy that Thundergirl looks to be sticking around since we saw her in Action Comics 1100 on Earth, and it looks like here she's got natural powers, no doubt coming from the fact that she's a clone of the original Boy Thunder, David Sikela. Kara tells her that since David wasn't Kryptonian, her powers will work on Kandor, something which annoys Zora, so she escapes, causing the heroes to follow after her, leaving Lena behind. But Kara knows that she'll be safer in the middle of Argo instead of a full-blown fight amongst Kandor. Zora escapes back into Kandor, but Leslie catches up to her, smashing her in the face again as Zora tries to play some mind games on her, telling her cousin she must have been dying to hit her this entire time. Leslie tries to explain that she never wanted violence between them, and it gives Zora a chance to blast her solar reservoir and rip it from Leslie's neck, returning her to her powerless form. The super substance scout Rust saves Leslie from falling to her death though, catching her with their slime as Supergirl catches up to Zora, using her own super substance to grab the villain and slow her down, letting Superboy and Thundergirl lay on the heat. I do really like this being a team effort here in the end to take down the villain, as it really always was. It's people working together, proving to Zora that working together is stronger than trying to do everything yourself and trying to rule everything by yourself. It's something that Sophie Campbell has kind of had at the heart of her entire 15-issue story so far, as being that being on your own and being separated and isolated from everyone is a big problem and can lead to things like this with what Zora is doing, where she's trying to kill everyone who is not like her. Zora tries to convince Thundergirl that they are on the same side, but the hero isn't listening, hitting Zora with another powerful scream. Kara decides to rage bait Zora a little, telling her that no one likes her anymore since she sucks. Enraged, Zora chases Kara up through the exit of Kandor, leaving Superboy and Thundergirl to go and help Lena and Leslie. Kara and Zora arrive back on Earth in the Fortress of Solitude, and Kara leads Zora outside, figuring she isn't ready for her final showdown. Taking Zora outside empowers the villain with the yellow sun, which causes her to transform into a giant muscular rage monster. I've really been loving all of Campbell's various very anime-inspired transformations for all of these people, from Kara to Zora. Leslie gets one when she transforms into Luminary. It's just so much more interesting than they just get strong and they don't really look any different like what usually happens when a Kryptonian is under the yellow sunlight. I like Zora's here, kind of makes her look a little bit like Broly, like when he's gone like super Broly. He's had the necklace and his gi taking off of him and he's kind of going unbound. It looks great. Zora thinks that she can conquer the world, but now she doesn't care for Earth, something Kara isn't surprised about, since Zora doesn't actually care about anything and she pretends that this is strength, but this is just pure weakness. Kara attacks the hulked out villain, explaining to her that she fights against herself and it doesn't give her the drive to win that she has, and this is a fight that Kara cannot afford to lose, as everyone is depending on her, and if she loses, they all die. Zora just waves off Kara's comments, figuring she's just going to kill the Supergirl before her own genetic anomaly kicks in and she is killed. Kara hits her hard in the face, telling the villain between the yellow ring of Norcan and the yellow sunlight, she is absorbing too much yellow sun radiation and her cells are going into overload, and not even Superman could survive a solar poisoning of this magnitude. Thanks to the overloading cells in her body, Zora is nothing but a glass cannon and Kara shatters her, causing her to fall hard into the ground. Kara tells her to remove the ring of Norcan or she'll do it herself, since she isn't going to let Zora die there. This is some really fun stuff. Supergirl even is just trying to still save the villain in the end. Kara wants to save Zora from herself and make her face the consequences for her actions. Zora demands to know why Kara would do that, and frustrated, Kara tells her that she is the opposite of Zora. She actually cares for everyone and everything, even Zora, despite how much she actually hates her. The villain feels that she doesn't believe that one bit, but Kara convinces her, knowing that she could easily kill her, but she won't. Zora finally gives up the ring, letting go of all of the power she has while telling Kara that she hates her, but Kara doesn't mind, since she still is alive. Beyond this being a very superhero thing to do, I really like that Zora absolutely hates that this worked on her, and that Kara didn't break those rules that she set out for herself and what the Superman family have set out for themselves, despite Zora trying so hard to get her to break those rules. She won on her own terms and proved to Zora that her way just does not work and only works to hurt others and yourself. Later on in Kandor, the Science Council emerge from their bunker, thanking the arriving Supergirl for stopping Zora. Kara is quick to stop them from congratulating her, knowing that they are directly responsible for all of this happening, and they too should be tried in a court alongside the Black Flame. The defeated Zora keeps on trying to plead with Leslie to help her and let her go, and not let the Science Council throw her into the Phantom Zone, and Leslie promises that they won't, telling her interrupting parents that she gets a say and she has had enough of them and others stepping all over her. She tells the council that things need to change and they know it needs to happen, since the bottle isn't a prison. The pressures that they put on each other are, and if they address their strengths rather than their weaknesses, they could find a way to work together and fix this and build something new for Kandor going forward. This is the stuff that Zora was preaching at the beginning of her arc. She wanted to wrestle the control away from the Science Council, tell everyone about the genetic anomaly, try and sort a way out for it. But of course, that was just like a big ruse, and the last couple of issues, her mask fell and she revealed she was only in it for herself. She only ever cared for herself. But Leslie isn't that person. She genuinely wants the change. She's very much like Kara in that she's the opposite of Zora and wants something new for Kandor, something which Kandor sorely needs, something that also Mark Waid kind of built into his story when he was telling a Kandor story in his Phantom Zone arc, where they are very set in their ways, use the Phantom Zone to solve all their problems. It's something that made Superman become an exile from Kandor, since he wanted something different and they didn't want that to happen. It's been great seeing Supergirl and all these other characters kind of continue on that arc and prove that Kandor does need to change. She tells the council that Zora should remain free, since they shouldn't be relying on prisons to sort out their problems, wanting her villainous cousin to rebuild the city she destroyed, and they will all help rebuild it, since she isn't the only guilty one. Council are as well. It's what I was saying before. I like this. It's taking the power away from these select few older generations here, so that everyone in the city is on the same level playing field. No one is above someone else, and it's definitely something that has needed to happen with Kandor, since they were very set in their old ways which probably should have died with KRYPTON, and they should learn to evolve. And that looks like something we're finally getting to see. Zora thinks that she's going to puke, not believing that Leslie knows anything about loyalty and family, but Leslie knows enough to know to walk away from one sometimes. She's going to do with Zora. She tells Zora that she doesn't need her and never did. Kara is proud of Leslie for standing up for herself for once, gifting her the yellow ring of Norcan, something which Leslie doesn't think she should be trusted with. Kara reveals that she is going to trust her anyways, since things are going to get better and Kandor needs its own hero. Leslie puts on the ring and transforms into Luminary once more, tearfully telling Kara that she'll never let her down again. Leslie finally getting to be the hero she wanted to be all along is so satisfying, especially if you've read the last 15 issues of this book. This is what it's been building towards for this character, and I'm glad she gets to be a hero of Kandor, her home world. She gets to be that role model for the new generations and for like her super substance science scouts and all of the other people who looked up to her. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what her role is now as the main hero of Kandor, since it's kind of going to free up a lot of the Superman family characters who before they had to come into the city to deal with some problem, or they had to be involved somewhere, and this kind of frees Kara up from constantly having to bounce back between Earth and Kandor. She can now just stay on Earth while Luminary heads up the defense of Kandor. It's a great role for her. The next day, as work gets underway in rebuilding Kandor, Kara comes to see Thundergirl, picking up their conversation from before and asking how she feels. The hero doesn't really know what her role is meant to be now that the Science Council is disbanded, but Kara tells her she's there if she ever wants to talk, and while the council never gave her a chance to have a life, she has one now, be it in Kandor or out of it. As we've seen in Action Comics 1100, Thundergirl does end up coming to Earth, maybe for just a little bit. She ends up being a hero for a little bit, which is really fun. I'm hoping she doesn't get lost in all of the Kingdom of Zod stuff and Campbell is able to explore her character. Since she's a complete blank slate of a character, anything goes really with her, so I'm intrigued to see where Campbell is going to take her. It leads to a lot of firsts for this character, so I'm excited to see that, and I'm also excited to see if they end up taking the whole Thundergirl legacy, you know, the boy Thunder with David, and kind of shifting it and making it as something slightly more hopeful, since he kind of sullied it just a little bit, you know, near the end of his World's Finest run, especially because he turns into Magog, the villain from Kingdom Come. So I'd like to see them take back that mantle and give it to this character who wants to actually be a hero for her people. The next day in the Fortress of Solitude, Kara has finally gotten the ruins of Argo City put into its own bottle, feeling terrible about what happened in Kandor and how her procrastination made it even worse. Although Superboy doesn't think that participating in the Omega tournament was procrastination, Kara tells Lena and Connor that she can't help remember what Leslie told her before she left Kandor, and how there is a sun crystal out there in El Caldero that is waiting for her to reclaim, as is her birthright now that Clark is gone. Kara intends on carrying her cousins and Krypton's legacy, something she has been running from. She transforms her costume into a more classic Superman family look, telling her friends that she needs to be a leader now. I'm a little disappointed that the blue and white suit isn't sticking around. I mean, technically it is. This new suit is just the old suit just recolored, because her suit is now a symbiote type super substance being, which is very cool. But I do like the idea behind the change. Kara is stepping up to the plate in her cousin's absence, and I like in that regard, the suit kind of echoes Superman's costume a little bit, especially with the trunks, which is something new that Supergirl never really had before. So I kind of like that little touch to this costume, and hopefully this suit does stick around for a little bit. I would like to see the white and blue one come back, since it was a really great look for her. But I get the meaning behind this suit change. It's not just happening just cause. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that whole symbiote costume too. Kara knows that she needs to be the true heir to the House of El, and she can't do it alone. So she calls in some friends in the form of Luna Lustrum, Night Flame, Princess Shark, Thundergirl, and Lena Luthor, who Kara dubs the Super Force, wanting to gather up the Superboys and go after the Sun Crystal from El Caldero. Now that was an incredibly satisfying ending to the Kandor arc, and one that really ties into the Kingdom of Zod storyline more than I thought. The whole Sun Crystal stuff is really intriguing, because we've been seeing that in Dan Slott's Superman Unlimited book, where El Caldero got their hands on a Sun Crystal that gave them access to the House of El Ledger, something which President Castillo could not get into, but Zod might be able to get into. And I'm intrigued what sort of goodies are in that, specifically made for Kara, I guess. So I'm looking forward to seeing her getting to explore that across the event. I guess that's where her story is going to go. Through Kingdom of Zod, she goes after the crystal and learns more about her role as heiress of Krypton. It's an exciting role for her, since Supergirl never really gets much to do in Superman-led events. She sometimes appears, maybe she's used as like an early defeat, you know, if the villain comes in and wipes the floor with her, or like one of the Superboys or something. But I'm intrigued to see where her role is going to go now that it seems to be a lot more focused on her. She's now sort of the leader of the super family. So I'm really looking forward to Kingdom of Zod starting next week. Supergirl issue 15 rounded out Sophie Campbell's big Kandor arc, taking some story beats set out way back when Mark Waid was doing a Phantom Zone arc in Action Comics and really fleshing out Kandor and its people. I loved all of the characters that Campbell got to play with here. Her villain, the Black Flame, was a lot of fun. I enjoy a petty villain. A villain who actually revels in being evil is always very fun, and that is exactly what Zora was. I also really like getting to see Kara take on a more central role in not just Kandor's culture, but also in the overall hierarchy of the super family. It's a fantastic role for her, and it gets me even more excited for the Kingdom of Zod starting next next week. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.